Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Today on CityCast Boise. First came the parking meters, then came the outrage. Now Caldwell's mayor and most of the city council are facing a recall effort that's exposing deep divisions in the community. We're breaking down who's behind the push and what it will take to succeed. It's Wednesday, April 30th. I'm Lindsay Van Allen, and this is what Boise's talking about. Joining me today is our CityCast producer, Evelyn Avitia. Thanks so much for being here today, Evelyn.
Hey, Lindsay. Happy to be here.
Let's start with the basics. What is this recall effort trying to accomplish, and who exactly is being targeted?
Yeah, there is a lot of drama happening in Caldwell right now. And it all began with a group of Caldwell residents who have launched this petition to actually remove the mayor and 4 city council members from office. And so we have Caldwell Mayor Jerome Wagner, and the 4 city council members are Brad Doty, Jeff Williams, Chris Allgood, and Mike Dittenberg.
Has this group been specific about why they're targeting those 4 city council members specifically?
This Caldwell recall, they created their Facebook, they launched their, I guess you'd call it like a campaign. And in that first post that they made, they said, Caldwell deserves leadership that listens, not silences, that serves the people, not developers, that respects the law, the process, and the voice of the community.
Wow, interesting. And the group leading this charge say that the issues are city spending and leadership. What specific decisions are at the center of their frustration?
Yeah, it seems like there's a big major disconnect between the city and the community's needs. I think it really did start with the installation of those paid parking meters. The city moved forward despite most of the Caldwell residents being super against it, and they felt really ignored. And then it led to the whole thing of everyone's super upset and now they're being removed. And so that was just messy. And then I think it got even worse once the city approved a 100-room hotel project in the empty parking lot near the fairgrounds. And if you're in Caldwell, that is like the parking spot. Anytime there's events, the Caldwell Rodeo, the fair, College of Idaho football games, that is land that is utilized by a lot of these citizens when they're trying to park or they are leaving their trailers there. That caused a lot of negative feedback.
Evelyn, do you think that the people of Caldwell see the parking meter issue as a one-time mistake, or is it a symbol of maybe bigger mismanagement in Caldwell politics?
I think that's what this group is really leading to is, they feel like it wasn't a one-time issue, right? We have the paid parking meters, then the hotel project. And then another point that they made is that the mayor and the city council supported the police chief who was accused of sexually harassing a female officer. So they just feel like there's like a big lack of transparency in how decisions are being made, how their tax money is being managed. So it seems like a lot of things are piling up that is just leading to residents being really upset.
And how have the mayor and these 4 city council members responded to this recall effort? Has their response brought the temperature down at all, or has it added to the tension?
Yeah, I think when this first launched, I think they thought it would kind of just go away. But I feel like Jim Hollis, who is leading this petition, has just not backed down. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten a lot of folks on his side, which led to the mayor releasing a statement where he is defending himself. And he's stating that Jim Hollis is sharing an excessive amount of false information, inaccurate information. And in his statement, he says, while Mr. Hollis says that he's ashamed of Caldwell, I am not. I grew up in Caldwell. I've seen it at its very worst, and now I get to experience Caldwell at its very best. And it seems like this statement just added more fuel to the fire. The social media comments are just expressing so much disappointment towards the mayor. They feel like he's attacking Jim Hollis instead of listening to them. And Jim Hollis claimed that after this press release, they gained even more signatures. So he's like, hey, thank you to the city. We're collecting more signatures now.
Wow. So it seems like the temperature's rising and their efforts to diffuse it were unsuccessful.
Totally. And then there was this one comment on the Facebook statement. One resident said that, even though the mayor is proud of their accomplishments, that not everyone sees Caldwell as better and they feel like they don't have a voice, and that the council members are just making all these decisions without community input. And this comment really stood out to me because then she goes into saying, not all of us want to be Ada County. So interesting. Yeah.
So as someone who lives in Caldwell, do you feel like the city council and the mayor are trying to make the city more like Ada County? Or like what does that read to you? And is that maybe an accurate statement?
Yeah, this whole thing is Save Caldwell. And that they are just upset with the way the growth is moving, that the growth is too fast and all this development is happening way too fast. And yeah, I have noticed that really upsets people. The idea of Caldwell losing its small town charm, losing its agricultural slow life and becoming a big city, it brings a lot of fear to certain residents here.
Mother's Day is coming up, and if you're still searching for a gift that's meaningful and might even make her cry those happy tears, let me save you some time. Get her an Aura digital picture frame. With Aura digital frames, you can preload before you gift with decades of family memories, so it's personal right out of the box. It plays live photos and up to 30-second videos with audio. And you can invite your whole family to contribute, so she's not just getting a frame, she's getting a living scrapbook from the people she loves most. Aura's been featured in hundreds of gift guides this year and named #1 digital frame by Wirecutter and Forbes. There's no subscription, no storage limits, and no complicated setup. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off, plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver mat frame. That's auraframes.com, promo code CityCast. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
So as someone who lives in Caldwell, do you feel like this recall effort has tapped into maybe the broader community's perception of the mayor and these 4 out of 6 city council members? Or does it feel isolated to maybe a smaller group of residents who are particularly upset about the parking meters and the hotel and this ongoing lawsuit with the police department?
I mean, in my experience, I am a first-generation Gen Z Latina woman, so it does feel like it is a certain demographic who's really, really tapping into it, and that would be the older boomer folks who have been living here for their entire lives. And in the mayor's statement, he said, "Those of us that have lived here over 30 years know what Caldwell was like when there was no growth, and we do not want to go back to those times." But it seems like many of these residents do want to stay there and don't want to continue moving forward with such fast and intense development.
And one of the reasons I wanted to talk with you is because of your perspective as maybe younger generation Caldwell, your perspective as not someone who's, been in Caldwell for the past 50 or 60 years. Is this something that people you are interacting with are discussing throughout the community, or is it confined to like the Recall Group's Facebook page or maybe the Nextdoor app? Or is this something people in the community are really talking about?
To me, it does feel like it's very confined to social media, to these Facebook pages. I haven't had any conversations with, any of my Caldwell friends, anyone I've been around here. When I'm sitting at Flying M and I'm just working, I don't really hear anyone engaging in those conversations. So it does feel very confined to social media. I will say when I drive by and I've seen the recall signs and recall trailers, there usually is a couple of people engaging in conversation and signing petitions and stuff. But yeah, I'm not too sure.
Do you think that this recall effort has changed the general mood in Caldwell at all?
I think it, has created this bigger question where people are wondering, do I really align with my elected officials, with my city officials? Do they really represent our best interests? I think, it makes people question, like, what is happening? And maybe people who aren't super interested in those city politics are paying more attention now and wanting to learn more and trying to understand what this drama is and what's happening. I think it is leading to more engagement, whether it is for entertainment or wanting to just feel more knowledgeable about what's happening in their city. But yeah, I think it's a weird vibe.
We've talked before on the podcast about how Caldwell is a city divided over certain, breakfast spots or takeout restaurants. Is this issue creating a split within the community? Like, are sides forming, or does it feel like people are still kind of waiting and seeing what this will be?
I think we're definitely in a waiting period still. I really haven't seen any big conversations supporting the mayor and supporting the city council members. Right now, I think the loudest voices are this group who are working to recall the city members.
Recently, maybe the latest information at the time of recording this podcast is that in the lawsuit that's being filed against the chief of police and the police department, Mayor Wagner has been added as a defendant in his individual capacity for failing to take appropriate action following the reports of misconduct. Do you think that has energized this effort at all, or is it maybe too soon to see what kind of an impact that's having on this recall effort?
I think it's too early to tell, but yeah, definitely an interesting development that has happened, and I know KTVB has done some reporting on that.
Okay, Evelyn, let's get down to kind of the nitty-gritty of this recall. How many signatures have to be gathered for this effort to be successful, and when do they have to be gathered by?
Yeah, so they need to gather 4,984 signatures by June 2nd. But the petitioners, they have to collect that number of signatures per person being recalled. Once they gather all of their signatures, they have to be verified by the county, make sure that these are all eligible Caldwell voters. And then that question of whether or not these elected officials should be recalled is going to be put on that November 2025 ballot. But the mayor, Jerem Wagner, and the city council member, Brad Doty, they're actually up for re-election this year too. So they're going to be on that ballot regardless.
So regardless of whether this recall effort is successful or not, what kind of long-term impacts do you think that this tension could have on Caldwell's political and social climate?
I think it really is just going to make this divide between the people who want to preserve Caldwell, keep its small town charm, and then the people who are embracing the development, who want the growth, I think there is just going to be a very clear division between those groups. And then I also feel like it leads to more uncertainty within their city officials of like, can I really trust them? Are they serving my best interest? And yeah, who knows? Maybe people will head to the polls and actually vote because Caldwell has low voting numbers usually. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, Evelyn, thank you so much. I really appreciate you breaking this down for us and sharing some of your insight as someone who lives in Caldwell.
Yeah. Thank you, Lindsay.
That's all for today here on CityCast Boise. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to tell a friend about the show. We'll be back tomorrow morning with our guide to May. You won't want to miss it.